5 minutes to go, but it is very important that we can wrap up this discussion because, as I've said, many of the things that you heard now today are things which are perhaps not being discussed openly or broadly or in detail. So, to wrap up, here we are with the South China Sea. There you have the Chinese water cannoning our vessels, and then you have patrols that are being organized, and then you have countries also that are interested to assist us, and then you have a president who has stood firm that we will stand still, like bakal talaga, na not 1 inch of our territory will be taken away from us. And that is exactly why Butch can summarize this as the South China Sea is our sea of hope.
Well, first, I agree with the president. We should not give up even a single millimeter. Siya inch pa not even a millimeter. But for the Chinese to be water cannoning our Philippine vessels in the area where it is our economic exclusive economic zone, ay talagang that's a conduct and becoming, and it really demands that we complain against China for doing that. I think China does not understand also what UNCLOS means. Akala kasi nila na pag naglalagay sila ng mag-reclaim sila ng isang teritoryo na nila. They cannot do that. They cannot do that. So again, I think somebody who is very knowledgeable should explain it to the Chinese. In a negotiation, I think it should not be what they know, what we know, but if they do not know and we have to explain it to them, then let's explain it to them. Para nang sa ganun ay magkakaintindihan tayo. You know, there is a point in time where we meet somewhere, diba? So that we will agree with each other.
Exactly. There was Rumi is one of my favorite Persian poets, and one of the sayings that he has come up with in one of his poems: between what is good and what is bad, there is a garden. Let us meet there.
I love that.
Huh?
I love that.
Between what is good and what is bad, there is a garden. So let us meet there. That's exactly summarizing what Butch is saying. Talking is important. And sometimes, silence is 1,000 words even, but we need those words. We need those words to tell the story of what the Philippines is actually standing on and standing by, as the president has already mentioned this so many times. But what is also important is that for the Chinese to listen. If we go back to what originally the president said, President Xi Jinping, ang sabi niya, Butch, nung unang-una, that was about 14 years ago when he started this One Belt, One Road program sa Davos. Anong sabi niya? Magnegosyo na lang tayo. Huwag na tayong magkagulo pa sa away-away. Let's get back to that, President Xi Jinping. Maybe that would be a better threshold na imbes na magwa-water cannon ka, tingnan natin if we can have joint explorations, tingnan natin kung pwedeng mangisda naman yung ating mga mangingisda doon, etc. and all. And then let's share. Magnegosyo na lang tayo doon anyway. So, that's the way it goes. And Butch, sometimes it is important, as you said, to go back in time and to go how it is historically. But sometimes we cannot invoke that always as the threshold. Na-mention mo si Limahong. Okay, so, and then na-mention mo yung si Sultanate of Sulu, the Sultan of Sulu. So we have really, items in history which we could cite as a possibility where we could revive all of this para magkaintindihan. I have discussed the Westphalia Treaty so many times already. I owe this to Butch Valdez, who has actually propagated this idea so many times and, several years back. And that is exactly why it is important to cite historical episodes for our future. So here we are at this threshold. Our president is entering the third year. Soon enough, by July, he will be addressing the nation again. And perhaps he will be getting some of the lines of Butch here so that he can be able to explain this to the people the way Butch explained it to us. Anong say mo dyan? Because I think he has listened to many of the things that you've said on this program.
Well, I'm not saying that I am really an expert in this, but these are just my
Common
thoughts
sense.
when I made some studies. But definitely, I think President BBM should also remind China that it was his dad who opened the doors to the world. We sent the first. I'm proud to say na we sent a cultural group to China, and one of those cultural group that was sent to China was people who taught China how to play chess. Galing sa
That,
Pilipinas.
yes, you.
Ah,
Yes, you sponsored this.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Oo.
now, China is a world power in chess. You
Oo.
can just
Yes.
imagine that. So maybe it's about time that President BBM should remind the president of China that it was my father who opened the door to China. It used to be the bamboo curtain, but my dad removed that bamboo curtain, and made you one of the most powerful nation on earth.
Exactly. That's
You
very
should
good.
be
That's
grateful to the
yes,
great
yes.
late President Ferdinand Marcos. And
Yes.
because of that gratefulness, do not harass us anymore.
Very well said. And also for the President Marcos Jr., not only to remind the fact that it was his father who opened the bamboo curtain, as Butch said, but prior to that, he was together with Mrs. Marcos, his mother, when they first went to China to open those doors for the diplomatic relations to begin. He was a young man then, a teenager, together with his mom, silang dalawa. And since President Xi Jinping is an avid Mao Zedong student, then perhaps to remind him that our president, as no other president in his teenage years, actually met with the great chairman Mao Zedong. So that is very important. You know, he was there, and you could see the smile he had, and how Chairman Mao also acknowledged his presence. So you have there the young Ferdinand Marcos Jr. together with his mom opening the doors before the first diplomatic mission was established between the Philippines and the People's Republic of China. So thank you very much, Butch, for those words. And I think the president needs to remind Xi Jinping of that.
Thank you very much, Rita. And okay, next time let's talk about agriculture.
Okay, so
Because I have something to say about agriculture. You know, our budget is around 5.7 trillion pesos a year. That is only the equivalent of their soybeans production in the United States of America.
oo nga, that's true. Anyway,
Because the US produces 125 billion US dollars of soybeans, equivalent to our budget in the Philippines.
well, that is why America, they say, is the land of milk and honey. But let's look at it now. Medyo hirap na rin. So be that as it may, we are all affected by what is happening to the world. Our president has already warned us of the coming El Nino, and I'd like to repeat this because he has already tasked the not only agriculture but all the other agencies to prepare for the dry season that is already coming now, as we are experiencing it, and all the way until the summer months. So the president made that warning in the same manner that he has also called on the LGUs now to behave and to do something about their respective local government units so that they can be part of what he has mentioned as the Bagong Pilipinas. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Butch, for a very enlightening, well, I was completely enlightened, of course, afternoon on the South China Sea. And the next program, we will be talking about agriculture. So thank you, and thank you all for having joined us. This has been your Chronicles, and this is Rita Gadi with Butch PICHAY.
Bye.
pum 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 pum